me whomever I shall name to you." The woman said to him, "Surely you know what Saul has done. Now he has cut off the mediums and the wizards from the land. Why then are you laying a snare for my life to bring about my death?" But Saul swore to her by the Lord, and the Lord, "As the Lord lives, no punishment shall come upon you for this thing." Then the woman said, "Who shall I bring for you?" He said, "Bring up Samuel for me." When the woman saw Samuel, she cried out with a loud voice, and the woman said to Saul, "Why have you deceived me? You are Saul." The king said to her, "Have no fear, what do you see?" And the woman said to Saul, "I see God coming up out of the earth." He said to her, "What is this appearance?" And she said, "An old man is coming up, and he is wrapped in a robe." So this is an example of Saul going to a medium because he wasn't getting answers in another way. And then the medium was actually seeing someone who had died and was describing from that point what was going on. So it's an exact example of mediumship. And in this case, as per typical, the medium was a little worried because, it could mean her death, basically. So there was always that concern. So, but in this case, it was like, no, I need an answer, so I'm coming to you to get it. And then just one other real quick example, which is, of course, what is the story of transfiguration. And that's verse 17. After 6 days, Jesus took with him Peter and James and John, his brother, and led them up to the high mountain part. And he was transfigured before them, and his face shone like the sun, and his garments became of light. And behold, there appeared to them Moses and Elijah talking with him. Moses and Elijah, who had passed earlier, basically, showing up there and appearing to them. And Peter said to Jesus, "Lord, it is well that we are here. If you wish, I will make these 3 booths here, one for you and one for Moses and one for Elijah." He was still speaking when, lo, a bright cloud overshadowed them, and a voice from the cloud said, "This is my beloved Son, with whom I am well pleased. Listen to him." When the disciples heard this, they fell on their faces and were filled with awe. But Jesus came, touched them, saying, "Rise and have no fear." And when they lifted their eyes, they saw no one but Jesus only. So then those that had passed disappeared after that point. So all of this is just to say, if you look at it, there is much that's related to spiritualism and psychism things that's biblical. It's all there. What I would do is challenge you to not be afraid of the parts, or not worry if there's still any lingering, like, well, I'm not 100% sure. Just not to worry about those parts, because those parts are generated by people who are trying to say, out of fear, I want to make sure that you don't think about anything beyond. And of course, that's an understanding when you say, I want to tell you how things are, and you can't get any information that could contradict that from somewhere else. So, so hopefully you'll be able to take this and look through it if it's at all an interest to you. Many of you have moved past that already, so you're not worried about it. But if there's any lingering kind of thoughts about it, this is just some information, and hopefully that will help you to know how to look at it, and to know that you are okay to be spiritualists, regardless of whatever your background was. Thank you very much.